You got this, you got this, you got this.
I'm Stephanie Filardi. Welcome to Mind the Gap, the podcast. I believe many people fall short of living the life of their dreams simply because they get stuck in what I call the gap. The vision behind this podcast is to help you understand how to navigate the gap and in the process, awaken to the life that is waiting for you. It starts now. Let's go.
Welcome, friends. Thanks for joining the last week of 2020. Let us begin by taking our 3 conscious breaths. Inhale, filling belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, release, chest, ribs, belly. Inhale, filling belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, sweet release, chest, ribs, belly. One more time. Inhale, filling belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, let it go, chest, ribs, and belly. So do you believe me when I say you got this? Because you do. You're doing great. You're unstoppable. You keep showing up. You're here again, listening. So you got this. So something that I want to close the year with is the reminder that our beliefs inform our life. I've spoken about this numerous times on the podcast over the past year. I speak about it in my upcoming group coaching program that starts in January. And many of us get caught in the idea that our thoughts are what solely rule our behavior. And while that is true in part, our thoughts come from somewhere. And the somewhere is our belief. So I'm going to give you an example. As we wrap up the holiday season of 2020, if you recall back to when you were a child, whether it was you or someone you knew, somebody in your life believed in Santa Claus. Like without a doubt. You knew there was Santa Claus. Maybe you even saw him. There was such a high level of belief, and that belief created thoughts. What am I going to get for Christmas? Did I make my Christmas list? Am I behaving? To things like, we have to put out cookies and milk. Is he going to come through the chimney? What's his sleigh like? How are the reindeers? Etc., 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 etc. Mailing letters to Santa. So the belief that Santa was real caused us to have certain thoughts and then take certain actions. And then some of you may recall the day where you or someone you know realized that there was no such Santa Claus. And perhaps your entire world caved in because this belief that you had for many years that brought such joy was not true. So now what? Conflict, crisis, sadness, who knows all of the emotions? The loss of a dream, making sense of things, what's real, what's not real, hope, lots of emotions. So the same is true as adults. If we believe that we're great, that we're unstoppable, that we're deserving, that we got this, that we can persevere and we can persist in this marathon called life, which is a marathon with or without a global pandemic. If we believe that we got this and that we can show up another day, another moment, another breath, then guess what? We will. Why? Because that belief that we got this keeps us in positive mind frame. It doesn't mean we don't have a bad day. It doesn't mean we get off track. You know that. I've spoken about that. But what it means is that we get back on. Because our belief that we got this, that we're worthy, that we're deserving, that we have faith in the bigger picture, in the plan, in the spiritual perspective, in the spiritual view, that belief keeps us going and growing. And folks, without that belief, life becomes empty and meaningless. So the opposite is also true. If we have the belief that we don't deserve it, we're not worthy, we can't handle it, we're not good enough, we're afraid, we're worried, all of those, then our thoughts will revolve around that negativity and will generate negative emotions. And then that will be our experience. So as we close out the year, I invite you to take the time to sit with yourself. Take a half a day, take a full day if you can, take an hour, 30 minutes, some time, because you are worth it, to check in on your beliefs. How do you think you're doing, truly? And if you're not happy with a certain area of your life, then commit to looking at that area in detail, to uncovering the beliefs that generate the thoughts, that generate the outcomes, that produce the results. And as I've shared with you before, my group coaching program kicks off in January. You can go to my website to learn more about it. We kick off January 19th. There's a special offer for those who decide to enroll by the end of this month, by December 31st. But even more than that, this is about you being true to yourself and you giving yourself permission to have those beliefs simply because you were born, not because anybody is telling you, including myself. Because I promise, once you start to realize what those self-limiting beliefs are, and we all have them, then you can start to really manifest the things in your life that you say you want. So remember, you choose your beliefs. Yes, we may have inherited them and learned them as children. But as adults, we get to choose the ones that support us, that nourish us, that keep us moving. And we get to discard the ones that do not. So just like when we realized Santa, quote, wasn't for real, we got to decide as adults, as young adults, how we were going to deal with it. Did we say, oh, forget this, we're not going to even tell our children about Santa Claus? Some people perhaps. But what if we were more capable? What if we were actually able to deal with beliefs as they become uncovered that are not true, that we've held so tightly? What if we had the courage to look at those beliefs and say, wow, this belief isn't true. This belief no longer serves me. And that believing in the possibility that there's another belief that's even better. So that's the invitation. Take the time to reflect, meditate, walk, run, move your body, etc., 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 etc. Do what you need to do to nourish your spirit, to nourish your body, to nourish your mind. Be gentle with yourself. If there's one thing that I know, it's that you've got this, you've got and this, we've got this, and we've got etc., 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 etc. Let's go.
If you find this podcast helpful and if it provokes you in any way, meaning you love what I have to say, or maybe you don't like it because it triggers you, awesome. I've moved something in you, and perhaps you will want to share this with someone else in your life who might be interested in being moved. So you can find us on Apple, on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. And as always, feel free to share links with people you love, because remember, we are in relationship with each other. So the more that you are present and you invite other people on the journey, the more peaceful world we will live in because we will be together understanding these concepts. So I thank you for your support, and you help us keep the show going by sharing it, by liking it, by giving us reviews, and helping us to grow. Thank you.